Hello, so in this video, I'm going to be creating a gRPC connection between Python as a server, and on the client side, we're going to have Go. So like imagine if you have Go acting as well a server, but as well as a client. And like, for example, you have React on your front end, and now you want to implement microservice Python to, for example, read like OpenAI ChatGPT and get like a response for it. For example, here I have book one, right, like Excel, and the thing is that with OpenAI, we can actually manage stuff a lot better than making a REST response from Go. So let's get started. And basically, this function for this script will get the client main Go Excel, and we're gonna pass it here. We're gonna parse it and retrieve it back from the Go, from the client side. Okay. And if you want, like I actually have a blog to go through it as well. And for any additional documentation, you can go through gRPC and you have Python, Go, even Rust, but Rust I'm not going to cover in this video, but there you have it action-wise quite differently. So first things first, let's create our server, or actually adjust our server. So first thing you need is to install, like add additional packages. I have these ones installed. Let me just copy paste few. So I'm gonna delete these ones and add. So we need gRPC IO, gRPC tools, and additionally IO is to parse the Excel file to get the actual data and send it back to our Go client. Right? I'm actually gonna delete this one because a client has it, and here we're just gonna parse it basically. So now git install our requirements. Okay, now it's gonna install the additional things we require. We actually won't need it in this case. So that one is gonna be adjusted. As well, we'll have to need additional packages. Context. Okay. So let's see if it's installed. Okay. So okay, it's already installed. So first things first, on the server side, let's create a folder and name it proto. Inside the folder, we're gonna create a proto file. Because it's Excel related, let's name it Excel proto. Okay, as you see it there. This one is actually extension. You can install proto here. Proto, if you use VS Code. So it's VS Code proto. If you want like the UI. So I'm gonna add syntax proto 3 package proto. There's gonna be one slight difference between client and server side, but I'm gonna go through that later. So Excel service, let's call it Excel service, RPC, upload file, let's name it upload file request returns file response. Okay. No, it's service. Wait. So it's an RPC request, upload file request, and we're gonna return file response. So message file request string file, let's name it file name one. This one will be bytes and file content. You always name by 1 by 2, where it's like located in a gRPC. So message file response. And let's just make it a little bit different and just make it bytes file content. Let's name it 1. So as you can see, it doesn't highlight any issues now, but like, you know, file response, we're just gonna return file content. We're not gonna do anything with file name itself, but let's just have it. So now it's sometimes advisable actually to make a makefile, and I'm gonna actually copy paste it and go through it. So here you're defining a proto color, gRPC tools, that was when installed, proto path with name path, out same, copy paste like that, and see what it spins out. Let me just check the documentation. I think I have installed, but try again. Oh no, it actually complains about this one. Yeah, depending on if you use Linux, I use WSL, so it was important to install this one. Otherwise, if you use Mac, you can install with Brew. Okay, let's see how it's going. And see if it works. Like actually working, because I defined it as proto, as you can see here, package, so I should be able to access it. Let's just continue on. So now I'm gonna remove these ones, because we're not gonna do it in this way. gRPC, I don't think I actually imported gRPC itself. Let's do that. Here gRPC, okay. So gRPC is being used. Now server. gRPC server, no, futures, thread pool, max workers, and let's put it in. It's like partially like a load balancer. So Excel, we're gonna use this one. So with Python, there's one additional thing that should be actually done, because on default it doesn't find the path. We actually have to do for it to find it. And for that we have to use export. That's why it didn't appear. So basically, where is it? So I'm gonna go to CD, proto, VSL, oh no, PVD, sorry. So I need to copy this one. Then I go back. So we need to export a path for Python to be able to access it. So it's Python path, and you specify the location of proto. Okay, for now we don't have Excel service created as a class, but basically here we add Excel service server, and it should be generated here somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, here you have it. So sometimes when you don't find your specific yeah proto, like method, you can actually look into the gRPC PY. Here you add insecure port, the server port, start, and this is like just on your own preference. So now let's create the class. So class, let's name it as Excel service. Here I pass in Excel gRPC, Excel service servicer. So you can see, I think it actually can find it. Oh, as you can see, here it exists. So that is what we pass in inside. So basically we, by like object, we get the request from client side, file content, as you remember, file content. I'm not going to use the file name, that's for yeah, maybe another day. So we open the workbook with OpenPyXL. So we check if the sheet is active. We receive sheet value. We get the columns. Save it as a data frame. We check if it's empty. And then we get the file response with content B. So we get out the basically the sheet values. So this one basically, that like the client side is sending to us. Here is like the, as discussed, answer questions. We get the data frame with delock it, so the basically column 0, and here we actually use just get answers from GPT. As you remember, I specified up here open API key. It's designed .env, and here response we choose GPT questions, and that's actually chat completion, so a lot easier than using REST. For example, if I would do it from main.go, because then I would have to make separate requests, and obviously Python has the package included, so you can extend on that. Okay, and now let's see if it's gonna throw any errors. Proto. I get proto. I'm just gonna copy this one. Copy. Excel Proto. Paste. Which we have an issue. Can I come to it shortly? So in Go, you actually have to add additional thing. And it's Go package. And here, as you can see, Go mode. We actually have client gRPC. So it's different. Okay, so what's wrong here? Excel service is not defined. So I'm checking for the packages that are required here. Which package? So I need this one. Here you can see, now it's running on port 50051. So server is running, all good. Now let's do the client side. That's actually in Go. I can close this for us, or actually keep it open, it doesn't really matter. So I installed one. Now let's install the second package. On the server side, we as well have to do the same in Go side. Here you specify Go out. Actually can put it here. So you can see it's like partially similar, but here I use ProTalk. In Python, you use Python 3 dedicated package, right? So on Go out, Go gRPC out. So partially similar because here's Python, here is Go. Source relative. Okay, Go gRPC out, path, source relative. Let me just widen it up a little bit. I cannot, okay. I'm gonna narrow this. Now you can see. Proto, Excel Proto. Now let's run it and see if it's gonna generate. The client side. As you can see, it generated the files. So now let's define our proto buffer. Client, gRPC, same as we have here. Client gRPC, proto. Not being used currently, but it's all fine and dandy. Here we define type service, struct, EB, unimplemented Excel service. As you can see, like, with Go, it's a lot better. It like showcases faster and it's less headache than Python, because in Python, as you recall, we had to, for it to work, we had to export path, and it took some time, and you don't have it as much in documentation. It was actually service, so let's try again. Okay, it took some time, but as you can see now, there are questions that it was inputted, and now there are answers. Now you can see it took some time. Now we got the answers from GPT server side. And you can see it's quite different from this one. Here are just questions. Client was sending to main Go, like Python. It processed it, and now we got it back here with all the answers. So I hope you like the video. Python to communicate with ChatGPT. because it has dedicated package. Unlike Go, then I would have to make REST responses instead. So see you in the next one, and hope you learned something new. Cheers.